Right, we are a couple of minutes behind the schedule. Okay, let me introduce who we are here. On our schedule sheet, we have Resources Secretary as Linda Hancock, but she's not here, and so we want to welcome Tanya Wood as our Resource Secretary. Tanya is sitting right there. And the messengers, we have a Michael Lacey. Hi, Michael. We know Michael very well, and for many years, Michael is our messenger. Then we have the second messenger, who is new to us, Ganya Kim. Ganya's right there. Thank you so much. And then we have Ledge Counsel. I believe she is a lawyer. Sharon. Yes, I'm going to let Sharon introduce herself.
My name is Sharon Everett. I am the deputy. My name is Sharon Everett. I work with the Legislative Counsel's Office. I'm a deputy legislative counsel. And for the last 4 years, I've been in the Public Health and Public Social Services Unit.
Good. Yes, that's right. Thank you so much. Welcome you back, Sharon. Good. All right. So with this, and I would like to have a roll call so we can establish the forum. Okay. Thank you. Yes.
Lowe?
Present.
Tom?
Present.
Conaway?
Present.
Cowlishaw?
Present.
Cutler?
Present.
Gould?
Present.
Jackson?
Present.
Kagan?
Present.
Crone?
She's here, but was called to another.
Yeah, she's here.
Martin? Present. Monge?
Present.
Petty?
Here.
Placentia?
Present.
Rios? Taylor?
Sorry. 15. So in order to have a quorum, yeah.
14 are present.
because
No, Rios is out.
Rios is absent.
oh, Rio is absent. Okay, so we have 14. So then we need 8 votes in order to pass. Okay, 50% plus 1. Okay, so that's how we do it. And then since Sharon is not here when we vote, so I'm sorry, Shirley. So then, do we still need 8 votes, or we need some votes? Still need 8. Okay, very good. Thank you. So with this, I think we're all set. Agree? Okay, we're all set. Then, if that's the case, we need to call for. Altogether this afternoon, we are going to have, sorry, I counted out, but 10 proposals to read. So we have 3 hours, but of course we need breaks and we need talk or discuss. So that I would suggest no more than 10 minutes per proposal. Is that okay with everyone? Okay. And for special case, if we really need more, then we can give them more, but a little bit flexible on that. Okay, good. Thank you. So with this, I would like to have a messenger to get hold of Anderson. Okay. And Michael Haas, or Haas. At least we try. Hold on. And also Park. Michael, can you do that? 3 of them. Okay, maybe Ms. Kim can help. So 2.
You got Anderson already? Not yet.
Yeah, might as well get them all. Yeah, Haas and the Park. And I can get on to be the president. So we save time, right? Okay. Yeah,
Well, when we get through them, you just go down there.
yeah, I go down there and
You
they
could do
choose.
both of them at the same time.
Yeah,
If you
sure.
want for them to do it.
Okay, good.
'Cause when you-
Okay, with
that
this,
ship will repair.
yes. Okay, since we are waiting for those three, I have two proposals here, so I would like to have Vice Chair to chair the meeting, and I will be going down there presenting. Is that all right with everyone? Any objections? Here,
So,
do we need to vote on that? No.
if you turn to page 115, we're going to look at AP 12, the Diablo Canyon Power Plant, and I can't pronounce this word, believe it or not. Diablo, sorry. Diablo Canyon Power Plant. It's the emergency evacuations. And this is Senior Assembly Member Alice Lowe proposal. It's page 115. That's the first one we're going to do. Save us some time. When you're ready.
Yes, I think I'm ready. Good afternoon, dear committee members. The first proposal, as Vice Chair said, it's a Diablo Canyon power plant. Since the power plant was built, we discovered two fault lines, one after the other. And then this Diablo power plant affecting at least 3 million people right in that very dangerous zone. Now they still have quite a few years to get license renewed, but somehow they were afraid they would discover another fault or something, so they wanted to fast track the whole process. They wanted now give us, renew the license. And even our Congress, from both federal and the local, are looking to it. But I thought this is urgent that we need a proposal to ask our state legislators to help us to stop this kind of a dangerous licensing process. So what this proposal is trying to say is not only they have to have EIR, Environmental Impact Report, approved, EIR including, of course, seismic studies, but also from what they have now, they have evacuation plan. But the plan is really vague, and they don't take care of any seniors or disabled. It's just general. And we look at it, and I went to Diablo Canyon, talked to their public relations people. There were no detailed plan for that. So I thought it's very dangerous, at least in the EIR or on the side, we should request that comprehensive and whole evacuation plan, so that makes sure the seniors can be taken care of and knows exactly which route to take. So this is very straightforward, simple proposals. So that's why I'm here, need your support.
Any questions? Terry? Go ahead.
Are you wanting to stop them from getting relicensed, or you want them to put in an application now and then the study be done?
Yeah, I want them to put the application in, and then with the comprehensive evacuation plan.
Okay. If I helped build that, I was on that job, so I know how it's built. It's built very well, as far as I know. But I'm sure it's deteriorated since the time I was there.
Yes.
But the licensing application is fine, and if they shut it down, here's what happens. If they shut it down, where are you going to get your electricity? That's because I think we got in trouble once before. That's how Schwarzenegger got sworn in, because Ray Davis was buying power from Arizona and every place else and paying exorbitant prices for it. And that's the reason we have such high power costs in California now, is because of lack of licensing and being able to build something because of all the red tape that's out there to get cut through. For example, they have a solar plant trying to go into Rice, California, which is out in the middle of the desert. There's nothing out there, and we got some environmentalists that are turtle huggers, and they don't want to build it because they might have a turtle might have to walk around a post or something. I don't know what the hell it is. So that's my concern. That's, you know.
Did you want to answer that, or?
Sure.
Okay.
Just different, probably be viewpoints to look at it. I look at it, there would be, I agree with you, basically. Where are we going to get electricity? That's very important. But we all experienced that before. The electricity from California sold to some big company in Texas, and then Texas sell it back to California again, so coming back to us again. And either we don't have enough electricity. Remember, we have to take turns. We had the blackout days and blackout hours, so we had that happening before. But this time is, I think, with 3 million people's lives, comparing with the blackout days, and I'm sure that Californians are rather to do that. And then secondly, yes, I think it's, we call it the green architecture, and everyone wants to put the solar panels there to generate electricity, and so that if you have a more electricity collected in your battery at your home, that it go back to the grid, to the PG&E grid, for instance, Pacific Gas and Company, so that to store it. So we are using different kind of methodologies to make sure that we will have electricity continuously, hopefully. But I think 3 million people's life is more important.
Okay, Assembly Member Jackson?
Yes, I think it's a great proposal.
Do you have your mic on? I couldn't hear you, sorry.
Oh, I think it's a great proposal. The only concern I have is that, as most people are aware, PG&E is famous for putting the cost of any improvements back on the ratepayers. I don't know if there's a way it can be worded so that they can't do it, and probably the PUC wouldn't go along with that anyway, but it is one concern that I do have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any more questions? Oh, Lucy, sorry. Senior Member Mom?
One of the things that I want to ask you is that this proposal will take care of the people that live in the immediate area of this location of this plant.
Right now,
Necessarily just the people that live around this area.
no, not necessarily, because that is affecting the whole coastline of California and also the San Uno's power plant in San Diego area.
Well, okay. The other thing is that the county that you reside within this jurisdiction, that has jurisdiction of this area, do they have an evacuation plan in case of an emergency, whether it be an earthquake, a nuclear disaster, floods, and fire, and that sort of thing? There's no such thing in the area plan that would address evacuating people out of any area within your county, especially in this area that you're talking about. There's no such thing?
I think it depends on who you're asking. If you're asking the officials or any county members or whatever, they say, yes, they do. But if you look at it, just one sheet, and they say, if you hear the siren, that you should go to those centers.
Shelters.
And that they tell you where are the centers. But then what? And then if the seniors or disabled people, how do they get to those centers? No. Well, they just have to find their own friends or whatever.
Well, the reason I say that is because I know in San Diego County, the Health and Human Services has an inventory of all the people that live on the outskirts, on areas that are possible disaster areas, and they would have people already in place that would evacuate these folks in a location that would be,
Believe me,
taking care of them.
believe me, there's none.
So maybe that's something to look at.
Okay. Any more questions, Bob? Excuse me, Senior Member Petty?
Is that on now?
Yeah.
Okay. Is dilemmaed, can I use that noun and make a verb out of it? Because, as you say, there is a minimum boilerplate plan for evacuation currently in place, but the proposal, actually, to my reading, has two parts. One deals with the relicensure of the power plant, and the second one deals with the evacuation of people affected by an emergency, with particular emphasis on the additional needs of seniors and disabled during such an evacuation. And I'm dilemmaed because I feel like the second of those two parts is what we're all about, and creating programs of all kinds to help seniors and disabled. I'm not sure we're in the business of proposing legislation, or should be in the business of proposing legislation dealing with the relicensure of nuclear power plants. So, which I don't think is a bad idea. I'm just concerned that our work should be focusing on building and expanding the evacuation plan with particular attention to the needs of seniors and disabled, and charging the county or whoever would do that in the San Luis Obispo area. But I'm not sure I'm equally comfortable with saying, yes, let's get in the midst of regulating relicensure.
Ms. Chair, can I respond to that one?
Sure, absolutely.
That's a good point, Bob. That was the reason I myself went to Sam Blakesley's office and also Louis Cap's office, and telling them we don't have enough because we only have a boilerplate evacuation plan. And I showed to them just one sheet, actually, like a newspaper kind of a flimsy sheet. So that's what they said. They said you should mention about relicensing leading towards that event, because they want to use that opportunity to say, hey, you got to have a comprehensive, complete evacuation plan. Otherwise, it becomes like a middle of nowhere. All of a sudden said, hey, you guys should give me an evacuation plan. So that was the purpose.
In other words, you were advised by them sort of to use that as leverage. In other words, having an evacuation plan, an improved one, as leverage related to getting relicensure.
Yes.
I see. I understand the strategy.
Okay, thank you.
Still not sure I am happy other than, the second half of it, but I understand that.
Okay, we do have time for one more question, but go ahead.
Is it the responsibility of the Diablo Power Plant to develop a plan? Is that what you want, or do you want the county to develop a plan? Because I know that there's plans in place. When they had the heat wave a few years ago, I know that this Aging and Adult Services was on the phone calling all of their contacts that they had with the disabled and down and out, whatever, to make sure they've got to a cooling center. So, if they have I'm pretty sure that they have some kind of operation in progress or in place to notify these people or evacuate them or whatever. But I don't think it should be a responsibility for the power plant to develop a plan for the county. They might co-chair it or co-do it, but not be responsible for it.
I think at this moment we all know that because PG&E power plant, it's already have their license right now, it's operating, and then we look at it, it's going to be a partnership, PG&E and the county. You cannot have PG&E's evacuation plan without participation from the county or even the city. We have the small cities around. So yes, it is comprehensive and complete. So it's partnership to put them all together to save people's lives.
Okay, any more questions? Can I have a motion to vote for this proposal? Somebody move to say their,
I make a motion, we vote for the proposal.
in second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Can we, all right, let me just ask a question before we get started. We didn't talk about this earlier, but we don't have to do a roll call to vote. We can just raise our hands. So what would we rather have? I think the proper thing is you could raise your hands and count the hands raised. Is that all right? Yes.
I just want to clarify something for myself. When we vote yes or no, we're voting for the total
To us,
package?
the total package.
The permit part and
Both-
the
both parts of
evacuation?
it.
Okay.
Unless you would like to propose an amendment. Otherwise, we are accepting the package as proposed.
Okay.
Okay? So all those approving to go ahead with this proposal, please raise your hands. That means a yes vote. A no vote? Any abstention? So what's our? Yeah, just give us the totals.
6 aye, 5 no, 1 abstain.
Okay. You realize, Alice, you can vote too. I think you, oh no, she's the chair, she can't.
I
I'm
vote
the chair.
yes.
Yeah, she can vote, so. Oh, by the way, that's one of the rules from last year that I found out about. Legally, you can vote, if you're authoring this, you can vote for this. Thank you, Alice. So we have 7 ayes. Okay.
So it is passed.
Yeah. That's true. Yes.
Yes, I wanted to know if it's legal for me to change my vote at this time from abstention.
I'm not sure. Legal counsel, is that?
Your rules are outside my purview.
I believe it's acceptable until we turn it in, so would you like to change your vote?
Yes, I'd like to change it to aye.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
that'll be 8 ayes and 5 noes. So no abstention. I don't even know what the ruling is. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Evelyn, is there a provision where, like Shirley is not here because she's presenting her own bill, is there a provision where she can vote on
You mean
a bill
after?
after, or does she have to be here when it's presented?
I think what I will tell you she will probably do is abstain simply because she wasn't here to hear it.
Oh.
So this is what's happened in the past that I'm aware of. The other thing that happens is we could, in the beginning, agree that we could hold this and not vote till she gets back if she's missing. And she did not ask that, so if she's not here, I'm going to say she will probably abstain. She's done this in the past.
Oh,
So,
okay.
okay? So, yes.
Nora, Robert's rule says that if the body retains a quorum even when somebody leaves the room, then a majority of those present is what is required.
Oh, okay.
If we lost the quorum when she left, then we couldn't even vote.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
All right, so we have 8 ayes, 5 noes, and no abstention. I believe that it's failed to pass, right? It passed. It's considered passed, but it's not. I don't know. There's a ruling there. I'll have to figure it out, but. So it's passed. Okay. Right, it's passed. And now I'm passing the chair back to you. And we are now on, just to let you know, the next one we're going to go before I pass the chair back to her is page 107, Senior Assembly Member Anderson, AP1, Senior Volunteer Appreciation Day. It's yours.
Thank you so much. Yes. Assembly Member Anderson is in front of us, and we are going to discuss her proposal named Senior Volunteer Appreciation Day. Do you have any objection? Hearing none, then we proceed with that. Ms. Anderson.
Yes, well, thank you, Madam Chair. This is a very simple proposal. May is Older Californians Month, and I imagine it. I know in my community, and I expect in your communities as well. Seniors constitute a large volunteer force that keep schools running, daycare, senior centers, their libraries. There's hardly an institution that constitutes the cultural life of any community at which seniors are not volunteering their services to some degree maintain the standards of cultural life that we've become used to, even in these very depressed financial times. And this is just a day to commemorate that fact that of what all of these older volunteers contribute to our communities. And of course, the beauty, an extra beauty of this proposal is that it's not expensive. It's not going to, so it acknowledges that there isn't a great deal of money available for this, but that boards of supervisors would probably issue proclamations, and perhaps volunteers would be treated to lunch or given a gift or some small remuneration, and we would all be reminded of all that older Californians contribute to our communities. Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yes.
You have to. This is the first time I've done this, so I'm a little nervous about
Yeah,
this.
good. Yeah, great. Is there any question? Yes. Please.
May is also
Older Americans.
May is also Older Americans Month.
Yes.
And many of the things you're suggesting are encompassed in that Older Americans Month, the luncheons, the recognition, and so forth. I don't understand how different this would be as an older Californian, they're older Americans.
Well, it's true. In the area where I live, there are ways of recognizing, but older Californians, but not specifically for the contributions that they make to the organizations that they are serving. So this would be more directed to those people who, like the numbers of retired teachers who do extra reading programs in our public schools, to the numbers of older people who are in the libraries. This would be recognizing the work that they are contributing free of charge that really helps us maintain the standards that we've become used to.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Any others? Yes.
I would like to say this is an outstanding proposition. I run 2 sites, and if I didn't have volunteers, I couldn't do it. This is a great idea. I like it.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it forward.
Thank you, Marcia.
I think, to me, the difference between honoring older Californians and honoring volunteers is that many older Californians aren't volunteers. They may still be holding positions of office in something, and I think that it's really a great idea just to select volunteers for this one day during this time.
Thank
and
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob?
Tell me again, why did you pick
Tuesday of May.
No.
Second Tuesday of May.
Why did you pick May?
Well, because it goes in line with Older Californians Month. We always have a lot of, at least in our PSA, we have a lot of activities directed at seniors during May. So
Right.
it
It's
just
also
seemed appropriate. But
Older Americans Month, too, right?
yeah. And Tuesday was really arbitrary because that's the day our Board of Supervisors meets, and so that would be the day when they would.
Well, the reason I asked that is because what Marcia said, National Volunteer Week, during which it might be more appropriate to identify senior volunteers for the next 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, for the next 5 years is in April. So if you picked a day during National Volunteer Week to highlight the contributions of senior volunteers, that would contrast it with Older Americans or California Older Americans Month, where, like Marcia said, we're talking about services and things like that for older Americans, as opposed to thanking them for what they've contributed. I think, like Terry said, we definitely should do this, and maybe I'm being nitpicky about when to do it, but I thought National Volunteer Week might be a good time to do it.
I have to say I'm not familiar with, I don't know that I've ever celebrated National Volunteer Week, but...
Bob, Bob, do you know a little bit more? Because you were counting, you said next one would be in April. How do you do that?
How did I find that out?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
I knew that National Volunteer, in Monterey County, we have done things for volunteers, whether they be seniors or younger folks. And I didn't think that it was May. And so I actually figured out my smartphone and looked up, and National Volunteer Week, I have the exact dates for all through 2016 because of this. And it's each time it's a week in April.
Evelyn.
Alan? Oh, would you be willing to amend this proposal to changing it to April instead? Because he's right, Bob's absolutely right. I'm actually a commissioner on the Commission on Aging, and also I'm a volunteer. I have 5 volunteer jobs. And I tell you that I actually am the one who organized a lot of the volunteer events in April. You know, we honor all the other volunteers, even though, you know, I am one of the volunteers. So I was thinking this is perfect to pick one day out of that week which you honor senior volunteers. I mean, something of that sort. I'm just proposing that to you.
I'm not, I could be persuaded. I picked May because that's the month when it seems to me like the most activities around seniors go on where I live. But, I'm not.
I'm just asking. You don't have to do it. I'm just suggesting.
Well, it's not a bad suggestion. Because really I'm looking at this from my little community, and you're all looking at it from a larger perspective, so I can be persuaded.
Okay. The chair was just informing me that if I make a motion to amend this, then we can make a vote on it. If you amend it, we can't vote on it. We would have to wait till tomorrow. So I make a motion to amend this to be during the week of National Volunteer Week. Is that acceptable? In April.
Ms. Tom?
In April.
Do you want to designate which week of this year, or do you just want to say the Tuesday of National Volunteer Week?
Well, no date probably would be better.
I think it's better to leave it open.
Yes.
Okay.
Because, in case there are other events going on, at least the local group, can we do that? Or
So then one day out of that week would be set aside specifically for senior volunteers.
That's my
It would
suggestion.
say legislation that would designate the Tuesday of National Volunteer Week each year
Right.
as.
That's right.
Okay, if that's what you wanted.
That's fine.
Billy had a question.
Yeah. Billy?
I have a motion on the floor.
Billy.
I had my deal up before we got into the amendment, but I like this just like it is because in our area, May is also senior month. And every year we pass a month. We have done it in the senior legislature every year, and we've always had to redo it each year and each year. And this goes that we would be, it would go on forever. It wouldn't just be for 1 year. So that's what I was going to say, but then.
Well, I can withdraw my motion and stick with it. I don't have a problem either way. I was making a suggestion simply because we do have many months for seniors, events, and I was thinking that Bob made a really good suggestion.
Well, we can vote on the motion. I would vote on the motion. I wouldn't just withdraw it.
But is there any 1 second? That's
second.
different. Okay, good. Okay. So there is a motion on the table, and there's 1 second.
Well, Sharon, could you read the motion? I mean, the amendment.
The amendment would. There we go. The amendment would be to the resolution on page 2, line 35. The sentence starts, resolved by the Senior Assembly and the Senior Senate jointly that the Senior Legislature of the State of California at its 2011 regular session, a majority of the members voting therefore, hereby proposes that the Tuesday of National Volunteer Week each year be designated as Senior Volunteer Appreciation Day to recognize senior volunteers and thank them for their service.
Good, thank you. And also for your information, page 1 as well, line 15 and 16. We have to change that.
Yes, ma'am, I automatically update the digest for you.
Good. Yeah, thank you. Before I ask for a question, any other comment or no? Then hearing none, then we're going to vote. For those who vote, going to be saying yes for the amendment or no for the amendment, okay? So for those who agreed, say yes, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Those say no, please raise your hand. 1. Okay, so 11 and 1 is 12. We should have 30. Oh, I didn't vote.
You didn't.
Okay. I vote yes. So it's 12 versus 1.
You have to
Thank you.
remember
Yeah. So, okay, great. Now we're coming back to the main thing. Amendment is approved now. So we have to approve or disapprove of this AP1. Okay. So, any other questions? No. Any motion?
I so move.
Okay, thank you, Marsha. And Norma seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we're going to vote. For those who approve this, means aye, means yes, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Anderson. Thank you so much.
Thank you for making this such a pleasant experience.
Thank you. It's a good idea. Yes. All right.
We're a very kind and sweet group.
So, Michael, Michael, did we? Yeah, did we?
Not terribly red.
Page. Oh,
Salmon Park's here.
yeah, but Haas, Michael Haas. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I see. Yeah, Assembly Member Park is here. So let's go to page 121. Thank you so much. Yes, Assembly Member, please come forward. But Ms. Kim, that means 2 are coming, right? Or 1 is coming. Michael Haas is coming, and then we have Parcel. Tanya, can we also page I'm sorry, that's page. Oh, shoot. Purcell, can we page Purcell as well? Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I know. Okay, we have Assembly Member Park in front of us, and we are going to talk about a statewide senior citizens club, which is AP 17. Is there any objection? Hearing none, we're going to proceed. Welcome you, Mr. Park.
Yes, Madam Chair. My name is Sam Park. Okay. Then I come with this because the situation today that senior the support of the nationwide is cutting down, and it's going to be going into critical situation. Here we are at highest level of Sacramento, senior legislators cannot say no. We have to do something. I come up with an idea that we should form a statewide senior citizens club to support statewide needy seniors. How are we going to do this? Is my computation from our senior members throughout the California is $6.5 million, and I need $305,000 to establish machinery and rent the office and startup. Startup cost is $305,000, I'm asking. And this will initiate for all of us to go into explore these things, to do at each member's local levels and state levels. What I mean is, when all of us go home after this session, we don't see each other until next year. So that's not it. We have to do something for our seniors out there. They cannot no longer depend on the government and the state as well as cash strapped. And we haven't seen yet. It's going to be very critical situation. So those seniors are in convalescent homes and other low-income the facilities that's going to be threatened to close. And economic situation will not get better any sooner than a few more years. So I come up with this idea that we senior legislature to establish a statewide senior citizens club to be formed as a non-governmental organization to better facilitate and organize cause for the senior citizens on the local and state level by providing a foundation on which to raise money in order to advocate for issues and provide a network for senior citizens, and be it further. From the Chula Vista, San Diego to Eureka, we have representatives all over the state. And these members should be utilized, do something like this, even if first year we make a foundation and my computation will show profits from the second year. It won't take overall at once. No business will succeed at once. It takes time and efforts, and you have to have money and advocates. And here we are with 120 manpowers throughout the state, and that is the source of us that we could do this. Thus, I am proposing this senior citizens club throughout the California be formed, and I'm asking for you to approve this. I will take your questions.
Thank you. Any question? Yes, please. Yes, thank you.
Okay, all right. I don't see, first of all, we have area agencies on aging throughout the state and virtually representing every county of the state who really act or should be acting to do the same things you're suggesting. And I don't know how this would be different from those area agencies that are already formed and active in their own communities. There is another movement called the Senior Village Movement, if you're aware of it, in San Diego. It was funded initially through federal grants with just seed money. Communities, we have three or four in San Diego County, one in Scripps Ranch, and one in Del Mar, and one in an area called Tierra Santa. They're middle-class communities that were settled by middle-class people in the 50s and 60s, and they've all grown, many of them have grown old. So what the village does, it establishes a network of services, volunteer services, through the village, through the people who live in that community. And they are very successful, very successful. There's one in Boston, there's one in Washington, D.C., and I don't know where, there are several others. How would this, I don't know how this is different than what we've already got. We, in California, already have the AAAs, the Congress of California Seniors, our own body, TAC. How different would that be, and why would we need that on top of all these other?
Okay. Let's say we have a dozen of those organizations supposedly supporting seniors. They just don't have the money to channel it down. And there will be nothing but the cuts going to happen. And for your region, which does is, in fact, that it is non-governmental organization.
None of these are.
Your organization,
except ours.
I see that that's not government channel. It's not government channel. It's an organization itself does a successful job. So what I'm saying is, we will make the foundation throughout the state of California and do the same way. That's the idea. And we cannot depend on the area agency on aging to fund it for ADHC or other things. It's going to be cut. The reality is now the 2008 downturn really hit it. And this time it's really hit it. It's going to happen. And then we have to prepare for our seniors throughout the California. You have given a good example that works. So can we. Yeah. Yes.
Norma.
That the Commission on Aging fund the senior club, or how are you proposing to get the money, the seed money, to start it?
Well, seed money, I said, which will cost a little over $300,000 to start up money to buy equipment, hire the managers. And that's the beginning of the business.
Where would you get the $305,000?
That's a grant that I'm asking to the California or elsewhere, from the pharmaceutical and from the state and other organizations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good question. Good answer.
Welcome, Eugene Real.
Thank you.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. Okay, we carry on. Okay, have a question? Thank you.
Yes. How would logistically, how would you work this out? And I hear where you're going to get the funds, but how would you work it out as far as a person here, a person there? Are you just going to go in general, ask for volunteers, or anytime you get more than two people together, you're talking about money being, spent or expended by somebody? What would be your logistics on this? How would you?
Okay, the manpowers that we have already, I'm counting on senior legislators, and adversely, volunteers will come. You see, those organizations such as local Rotary Clubs International, Lions Clubs International, Kiwanis Club International. Have you attended those the organization meetings? They help. They help, and they become accumulating the money, and they do have projects such as helping the students in the local school area, and helping the needy seniors, buying the thousands of blankets in wintertime, give it to the street people. And this is just an example. See, my idea is to form this organization with a massive number of seniors. Let's say if we able to collect $1 from each seniors, will be 6 million. But how are you going to collect it? You have to form some foundation like this. Otherwise, it's just rhetorical, just talking about it. Then, AARP is a senior organization, largest in nationwide, is collecting $16 per annual fee. And there's a new senior organization came out, this Christian Seniors Organization. They are asking $12.50 annual fee. And that annual fee is the basic of the foundation. Just the basic of the money comes in. Then at the Busley, that is not all. We can publish the magazine and do the advertising, and we can tie this into big corporations. They will all buy advertisement, and they will set up certain way to support our organization if it's formed.
Thank you. Mr. Monch?
Sir, your ideas are extremely wonderful, except do you realize that all the CSL members are already busy and that there are already organizations? The money that you just spoke of, the $16 and the $12, are they already being given to this foundation, or will they be forthcoming, or can you count on them? The seniors in the villages are already being cared for, and they're the ones with low incomes. Also, would you be establishing something similar that would be usable, and could you can you ask the governor to say that it's okay? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, let me answer your question. That $16 per annual fee of AARP is just an example. $12.50 of Christian Seniors Organization annual fee is another example. My competition here starts from $2 per person. $2 would not hurt any seniors. And numbers speak. The numbers of the California senior citizens, it speaks. When there's a large numbers, that participates, there follows good results. I believe
Proposal
it.
time has expired.
Pardon me? I'm a businessman all my life, and I have explored the business over here. Of course, I explored the business in Korea, and I have the basic knowledges of business administration, and so forth could add it to it. So if we agree to do this, I will stand in the front, and we're not going to lose any money. We don't lose anything. Just get us started and get the foundations to be built. I think it's going to be great for us in the future.
Thank you. Resource person Tanya, we are going to have 2 more comments. Okay, good. Thank you.
My comment, can you hear me? Okay. My comment is that already we have an existing infrastructure that is very well developed in dealing with senior and disabled issues. And as we integrate and work with one another and share our successes in one county against the other and this and that, I am a member of the TAC meeting, and when we meet there, we interchange things that we are developing in order to make this thing more efficient. I think that by working and getting involved with these organizations and really coming to terms with what the issues are and had them right on the where they need to be addressed, and the humongous problem of the financial scenario that we have in these health and human services cuts and everything else is not going to change by having another organization. I think this is a tremendous amount of money that's gone out the drain because of the budget, and I don't think that another organization that you're thinking about is going to resolve that issue. Thank you.
Let me answer
Evelyn.
to your concern.
Oh, okay.
Going in business, there's a risk, and being successful is not that easy. But if you don't do anything, nothing will happen. What I'm saying is, we build the foundation. Like you said, AAAs and all this is government channels. And we had it for the last 31 years. What has those government channels do? We the senior legislature, even having a trouble getting $250,000 raised for our the annual session here.
Wow.
So if it's going to remain as that, I don't see any future. Then it's going to diminish it down because there are going to be more cuts going to happen. Then we may have accumulate $700,000-800,000 in our the accounts, but those are in general fund, and we still have to raise $250,000 or more annually. I work for that, and then I go to CPA Association, I go to senior centers, asking them to give money, which I did, and those are government channels. See, the problem is the government channel, the budgets and financing is in trouble, is going to go further trouble. That's why we have to prepare something like this. That's what I'm asking you to consider.
Thank you. Last comment. Thank you.
Assemblymember Park, your idea has merit. It really does. I know you presented this a little bit different before. I think I have 2 major questions. Number 1, who would manage this? And number 2, why would the federal government want to accept this as an establishment? Because simply the reason we have to raise the $250 is to help us remain as a state organization, recognized organization, and it's a nonprofit recognized. So my question basically is, why would the state want to do something more to accept this because this to me is would be a private club and not a state club.
Yeah,
So, and that's the question I have.
Non-governmental organization has nothing to do with government. Yeah. Then who is going to do this? It's us, senior legislators. You, me, and him, her, wants to volunteer and get involved. That's how it's going to begin. And if not, and it's going to be the same thing. And we will face more those funds cut for the seniors and other things. Yes.
Thank you. I think this concludes the deliberation, and we have to move on. So I would like to hear any motion.
Make a motion, we vote on it.
Okay. There's a motion.
I second it.
Second. There's a second. Thank you. And any further discussion or question? Hearing none.
Let me just
let
ask.
us-
She asked me to vote for her, so can I do that for her while she's gone? Okay. all right.
But that's okay. Yeah, let's. Okay, for those who agree and want to vote yes on this AP 17, a statewide senior citizens club, please raise your hand. For those, and seeing none, hearing none, if those who are against it, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, yeah, I voted. I'm going to vote abstain. So the motion is defeated. Assembly Member Park, I thought the idea is good, and this timing is not very good. We are in red, and maybe another venue that you don't have to present this idea to California senior legislature alone. Maybe you can explore the opportunity with Commissioner Agent, or I'm just thinking out loud there, maybe as affiliation with the ARP. So maybe just open up, enlarge the perspective, seeing whoever is willing to take it on.
Thank you,
okay.
Madam Chair. I have another idea. I will form these at large throughout the California. That's my next step. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, thank you. We don't have Michael Hayes or Hayes and Purcell and Tucker. Yeah. Tanya, can we just page all of those people because they are slowly coming? So I might as well call them all. Is that okay? Yeah. Call Tucker,
Rolfe.
and
Lauren Rolfe.
yeah, and Lauren Rolfe. Okay, Haas has 2 of them. Okay.
Tucker has 2.
All right. Yeah, Tucker has 2.
Let's take a 2-minute break.
Tucker is from the finance. Okay, we're going to take 2 minutes break. How's that? Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, why don't you give you have another proposal?
Yeah.
Why don't you
Do you want me to do the other one, or you want 2 minutes break?
You can do the.
Okay, I do mine. Shit.
Eleanor, Evelyn, excuse me. Well, who's calling who? I mean,
They're calling every. Pardon?
Whom are they calling?
They're calling all the others.
How?
So so they're probably waiting to speak.
See,
Okay.
I'm just curious because I'm waiting for someone to call me. So who's going to call me?
You'll get a messenger that comes in.
Okay.
Like they're sending messages out, and they'll come and give you a slip of paper. They'll go to the resource. They'll get a piece of paper, and they'll ask you to step out. Okay. So, okay, we're going to look at, it's page 147, AFP 8, Implementations of a Federal Patent Protection and Affordable Care Act. Page 147. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading real. Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. So, are we ready to hear this? Madam?
Okay. Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This AFP 8 is related with the existing law. It's called PPAC 8. That means Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. A partial of those fundings will go to the healthcare reform, especially to help those quality of healthcare in the rural area, and also solve the some health service delivery problems. But now, because it's under that, under H.R. 1, the Congress always wants to have a resolution and want to stop that. And if that is stopped, that means the money goes to the Medicare, Medicaid fundings will be stopped as well. So this proposal is just saying make this funding is not a part of the total resolution, possible resolution with the House. So it could, with the money coming down, the mandatory funding will be available to implement, to protect the patient. So that's it. It's very simple, straightforward. Thank you.
Any questions? Yes, Mr. Petty.
H.R. 1's a U.S. House of Representatives proposal.
Which one?
H.R. 1 is a U.S. United States.
Yes.
United States House of Representatives.
Yeah,
right.
That's a federal.
And the consequence of it would be to delay or prohibit funding of the health reform.
Correct. Yes. So it is right now. It's very vulnerable. Anytime can be affected.
Any other questions, discussions? Will someone make a motion to accept? Oh, I'm sorry, Martha.
I need to know a little bit more about HR 1. I don't know what it is. Can you just in a sentence or a couple sentences?
HR 1 will, it is in a line 37,
right?
Would preclude the use of federal funding
for this,
which
that's
should
the
be
specific.
available.
That's the specific purpose of HR 1. That's what it says. Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. I need a motion to move this on for a vote.
So moved.
Okay, second? Right, I'm a second. All right, all in favor, please raise your...
Discussion of the motion?
Yes, sir.
I would just like to say that I couldn't be more strongly in favor of something. I think this motion is absolutely essential to the implementation and continuation of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, and I think anything we can do to continue that, the programs contained in that legislation is worthy of our support.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Alice. Anyone opposed? Abstain? All right, it's unanimous, so it's passed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Consent calendar, yes. I'm passing the chair back.
Oh, we're taking a break.
Well, I guess we need to take a break because we don't have any presenter here. Thank you. So, yeah, that's right. Thank you.
I wasn't allowed to vote for you. I wasn't allowed, hey, Dolly, I wasn't allowed to vote for you, but it still was no.
Okay.
Insurance and financial
Something silly like reduce elder financial abuse or something really silly like that.
I want you to raise the Social Security benefits on the
Oh, increase the amount given for.
because this is what it was.
That hasn't changed either, has it?
This is what they charge to cremate people. It's go to it's now. So I want to raise it to that. Plus, I wanted to.
What's $4.95? Is that right? That's a fairly standard charge.
And I want to.
I haven't cremated anybody recently, so I haven't know how much it costs.
Plus, they say, you see commercials.
to present her
Page
proposal,
129.
which is page 129. Is there any objection for this AP 23 long-term care referral agencies regulation? Hearing none, yes, Lauren, would you please go ahead and present? Thank you.
Thank you. The idea behind this proposal is it's for protection of seniors and their families. There are regulations. The state regulates nursing homes and adult daycare facilities, boarding homes. They regulate the in-home supportive services, all kinds of services that assist, either take care of seniors or people with disabilities, or assist people with disabilities and seniors to stay in their homes. There is no regulation for a vastly growing business that has emerged because there's so much need out there for families and individuals to have help finding a place where they can, if they can no longer live at home, where they can move into assisted living or move into a long-term care facility that will meet their needs. Many of these kinds of organizations, they are for-profit organizations, and they provide recommendations. They take people on tours of different facilities, and they help families and individuals to find a place that meets the needs, their needs or the needs of their loved one. Because there's so much growth in this industry, there are individuals who are not as honest as others. And there's a huge profit in placing someone in a skilled nursing facility or in an assisted living facility or an independent living facility. Those buildings pay sometimes up to 150% of the first month's rent. And we all know that the rent for those is anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000 a month. It's very, very expensive. So what we have been noticing is that there are some people who get into this business and they find out which facilities pay the most in premiums, and they direct people to those facilities, not because they're the best facilities for the individual, but because it's best for the business to get the most money. Also, we have been noticing that there are some individuals who are calling themselves a placement organization, placement agency, who haunt the hospitals and will try to influence people who are in the hospitals to move out of their existing facility and into a higher level of care, in some cases inappropriately. Or, who may be able, with some lower level of care, be able to return to their home and want to do that, but they're being told that they can't, that they have to go into a higher level of care or a different facility. And it's not based on the need of the individual, it's based on how much the agency can get. These, the bigger the amount of money that's out there to get, the bigger these organizations are going to be. There is absolutely no regulation. You don't have to demonstrate that you have any knowledge about any care agencies or any homes in the area. All you have to do is put out your shingle and start getting contracts with the homes, and then you can start placing people and making, between 50% or to 150% of the first month's rent. So this proposal would require that those types of organizations also be regulated in the same way that a nursing home, adult daycare, assisted living, those kinds of facilities, to have some regulation to this industry, which is growing very, very rapidly.
Thank you, August. Before we proceed, Michael, can you do me a favor? Because Jeff is circling around. Maybe he's lost. Maybe, I don't know which room he's going. Can you help out?
Yeah, he's not here with us, though.
Yeah, I know. But remember he came in?
Yeah.
And he wandering out, so help him out. Okay, thank you. All right. Ms. Cutler, I see you have and then follow with Marsha.
I think this is fascinating. Do you have any idea how many of these agencies, these referral agencies, there are in the state at this point?
No, because they don't have to register with the state. They just open up and start marketing.
What I think it's a great idea to nip this in the bud, as it were, but I wonder how you would regulate them.
Well, our proposal is that they be regulated in the same way as the other long-term care agencies are regulated. That they in the proposal.
But they're not inpatient facilities.
No, they're not.
Okay. So how would they be regulated? I mean, that's my question. That's the only question I have, actually.
Okay. Thank you, Marsha.
In the proposal, it's recommended that that they have to provide. Well, I'm sorry. I'm kind of lost in my proposal here. In the proposal, there are specifics about what they would have to provide. They'd have to have a background check. The owners would have to have a background check. They would have to present the client with a disclosure statement of how much money they're going to be getting and, from who. And it should disclose information about the referral and any refund policies. And the names of all agency owners and shareholders, because lots of times they can do these sham, where the person can't even, or their family can't even figure out who is the actual owner. And so the owner has to pass a background check and a criminal record clearance by the Department of Justice. There needs to be a requirement that there be more than one option offered to the individual. So, the regulating agency can put these kinds of things into place.
I also think this is an outstanding idea, and I was trying to think a little bit ahead that referral organizations that they may go to, retirement homes, whatever. If it's not done so now, I think they should all have lists of licensed referral agencies. So when someone goes, say, to a retirement home and they take somebody there, that the name of the company that you're talking about, these startup companies, has to be on a qualified list, because this is really, really excellent. And I know in the Los Angeles area there are so many of these places now that are taking other people to look and getting a lot of money for it. So
it's very lucrative, and therefore it tends to it will have the tendency, and we think right now it has a tendency to attract the wrong kind of business person. And there's nobody to know. There's nobody now watching over it.
Okay. But this part, and then come back to you. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
My only concern is I live in an area now that has taken us, it took us 6 years to get a hospice service in our area. We used to have to pick people up, put them in the truck, take them over across the county line to die in somebody else's in state. So if you can expedite this system where they get licensing and get up and running without taking 2, 3, 4 years to do it, this is what's my You know, anything, I hate to add on to anything that's already a booger. You know,
Yeah.
it's already a monster. So if you add something to it, it's just a bigger monster. You know.
Now, the proposal that I put in here would exclude agencies like hospice and
Home health care and stuff like that.
Yeah, the ones that are already in existence, already being regulated. So it would exclude them from being covered by this. This is for organizations that just do recommendations and placement.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I would be concerned about, again, the logistics. I always wonder about something, because this would be a huge something to take into, you know, to be able to do. I know long-term care facilities, your doctor has, I mean, you can't just say, I'm going to put my mother in a long-term care or my sister or my whatever. A doctor has to sign them in. You just can't take them there. And something like this would be monumental to regulate and costly. So,
see, those regulations would stay within where they are now. So if the individual, I'll use my mom as an example. She wanted an independent living place that was smaller, that had the availability of moving up in help if she ended up needing it. We had a placement organization helping us to identify places, and then we would go and look at them. And then when she did find one, she still had to have the doctor sign it, because that was the regulatory process for the building. That would stay with the building. That portion of the regulation would stay with the building. And the agency, the regulating agency, would only put together the regulations that refer to that refer to and make sense for this agency, this type of agency. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. Mr. Marge? Okay, sorry. Yes, your turn.
Philosophically, it's incredibly wonderful, and the rationale is wonderful. My concern is that with the declining economy that we all have now, that the agencies in the state, which we mentioned that the agencies in the state, they are already taxed, they're already burdened, they're already cutting back, they already are dealing with budgets that are getting smaller. We talk about the word they, so my whole concern is that pulling this off, I think the other lady mentioned it, pulling this off seems to be a huge task for whom and how will it be funded. So, I mean, the idea is wonderful. I think we all have the concern. I just don't see how it can happen. So I just throw that out as a concern, not even a question.
Well, I do have an answer.
Okay.
Possibly. Currently, there is a fee that is paid for a processing fee for regulating, for getting your license by many of the agencies, and not agencies, but many of the facilities, the long-term care facilities and things like that. I think that this is an answer, is that these businesses should have a processing fee that they pay to help offset the cost of setting up the regulation. So that's not in here, but you leave it up to the agency to figure out, to determine and to put those things in place.
All right. Any other? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you. Jane, your turn.
I also have a concern about the cost. Because of budget cuts, people policing agencies already under regulations are not getting policed like they should. There are local agencies that do for free, that are nonprofit, that aid people in making those decisions, and I still like to see some individual responsibility. In the best of all worlds, I think it's a wonderful proposal, but I think it would turn out to be a nightmare, and who's going to police it? Who's going to find the ones that don't apply for these permits or forms? I mean, it's just a horrendous job.
You know, I agree with you that regulating something like this, and especially as much as we expect it to grow, is a horrendous job. But it's horrendous what's happening to the people. They're being bounced from place to place, and each time they have to pay a community fee, which we paid $3,000, and it can be more. And that's on top of your rent. And then they're paying rent, and it's a place that's either not appropriate for them, doesn't have enough care, or has too much care for them, and the families still have to. I think that the fees that they have to pay will encourage or will, as I say, offset the costs of setting it up and of actually doing the licensing. Currently, there is no place for families or individuals to go for assistance or for redress. They have no one to go to because no one's in charge of these people. The Better Business Bureau is the best they can do. And we all know that that's not, that has no teeth. So, yeah, I agree. It's going to be difficult, but it's such a monster in terms of the growth of the industry, and it has the potential of doing some serious damage to our seniors.
Thank you. Is there any other comment? Oh, Bob, I'm sorry, Bob, yes.
Lauren, I couldn't agree with you more on the need for this. And if anything, I would suggest going a step farther. In line 40, you say there are no specific regulation of these elder care referral agencies now, which I assume means that they're not required to register or take out a permit or anything like other kinds of businesses may be required to do. And before they could be regulated insofar as, are they doing the
Proposal
6 different
time has
kinds of things
expired.
that you have there?
I couldn't hear what your last...
Oh, I'm saying before they could be regulated in terms of, are they doing the 6 different things that you mentioned starting on page 132, they need to sign up and be registered. They have to be in a list of some kind, right?
Exactly, and that's what we want them to do.
Yeah, and so if the implication is that the need for this regulation is because the seniors are getting mistreated as a result of, the kickbacks. I mean, it sounds like these referral agencies are almost just like private contractors working for the nursing homes, and they get a kickback or a fee or something.
It's very,
for everybody
very close to that.
Yeah, I mean, unofficially,
but not all
that's
of
the
them
way
are
it works.
bad. I have to say, not all of them are bad.
So, number one, it would seem to me there would have to be some process by which, in order to do that kind of business, they would have to take out a license or sign up. The same way as if you needed to get a license to operate a restaurant, you have to sign up with the state. And I'm just wondering if we're concerned about seniors getting the short end of the stick, if it couldn't happen more easily, because I appreciate what some of the other people are saying about added expense and new inspectors and what else is going to happen out of public health. Whoever takes care of elder abuse and elder fraud investigations, if that wouldn't also be an appropriate department to look at for enforcing the execution of the requirements that you have listed here, rather than public health, because the idea is that they get the license because they agree to do these things, and then if they don't do these things, the seniors get the shaft, and that's what we're trying to avoid.
Right.
So I wonder if whatever agencies other than public health that enforce elder abuse and elder fraud might be a quicker avenue toward getting this to happen, because I really think it's a good idea.
The only other agency that I could think of that might have the capacity because they are out there would be the Contractors Licensing Board. But I don't know if it's a good fit. I mean, I know they're out there and they're, really going after the scams and things.
Problem is, it's all so new. It's not like they can just plunk into an already existing box.
Yeah. I just think we need to, I'd really like to see this proposal go forward, and if there are, if we can get a legislator to take it on, I think we can work these kinds of things out with the legislator and with some assistance, from the agencies.
Are you done?
I am.
Okay, good. I would like to hear two more, and that would be it. One is for, one is against. Then, because it takes too long. We already have two different people waiting for us now. So, Ms. Cutler first. Okay.
In our county, we have the district attorney's office has an elder abuse unit that's very, very active. I have a feeling that law enforcement would be a better place for this than a government agent, another government agency.
Good. Thank you so much. Norma?
Yes, in Kern County, Aging and Adult Services has the elder abuse section. It's a beautiful, beautiful idea, and I'd be for it 100%. The only concern I have is that Aging and Adult Services in Kern County, I imagine the other counties are the same, they are just cut so far back. If there's a way to partner this with someone else, another organization or something, I'd say go for it.
May I conclude? Just briefly.
You have a final say.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with you, especially the last two comments about aging and adult services. They are so impacted with elder abuse that I wouldn't even suggest, I wouldn't even think of putting this back in their laps. There may be situations that occur that are specifically elder abuse that they end up getting as a case. What I am suggesting is that this be licensed in much the same way as we license other businesses, and that there are existing agencies that do this, and that the existing agencies know more about what requirements and fees and things like that should be put in place than we do. And they also know more about licensing than the adult protective services does. So I am suggesting that we do the same thing that we've done with these other agencies that have differing levels of care. Some of them don't have any care, but they still have to have a license. And that we put them in with that type of regulating agency, and let the agency at least put some of these things in place, and then, they already have infrastructure. You don't have to build a new agency. They already have people who are going out and doing, not very much, but going out and doing reviews and monitoring and that kind of thing. So it would be a way to get started in monitoring and overseeing these type of businesses. And I ask for your support.
Yes. I'm sorry that we have enough. We have already discussed that long enough. How many? Oh, okay. Yes. Okay, great. So I'm entertaining any motion.
Make a motion, we vote on it.
Yes. Second. Okay, so we're going to vote. For those who agree with this, support of this, if your vote is aye, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who? No. 5 yes, okay. And for those who voted no, please raise your hand. 5-5. How many people? 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Someone didn't vote?
2 people.
Oh, okay. And abstention, please vote. Raise your hand. 2. So we have 12. So it is tie. It failed. Okay. Sorry.
That's
but,
okay.
Lauren, I agree with everyone. It's a great idea.
Well, we'll come back and we'll see if we can find an agency that will do it next year.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Mr. Tucker, please come forward. We have been calling you for a long, long time. And finally, I think Miss Kim was looking for you. Did you escort him over? Thank you. Thank you.
Page number, tell the people.
Oh, case number?
Page number.
Oh, page number, yes. Page number 139, everyone.
135 first, right?
Yeah, Mr. Tucker has 2. So 135 first, it's AP 28, long-term care ombudsman funding. Okay, anyone in this group has objection for us to discuss this one? No, hearing none. Yes, please go ahead.
I have a few copies of something I'd like to hand out.
All right. How about give to resource person? Tanya, you can take it. Yes.
I only have 11 copies, so I hope some of you can share it.
Are we losing another? It must be you.
No, I don't know. Kim, whom are you looking for?
Okay, I'm George Tucker from PSA 9. This proposal has to do with the funding. In other words, that's the financing of the long-term care ombudsman programs in California. Since this involves money, I decided to give you a form to look at so you can follow how the numbers work out. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the long-term care ombudsman program, but it was established under federal law, which is now commonly known as the Older Americans Act. And then following that, the California enacted the Older Californians Act to complement that act. It provides for the program to be established to protect the health, safety, welfare, and rights of residents in skilled nursing facilities and assisted living care or residential homes. The ombudsman program is a step before the situation becomes so bad that you have to bring in the legal authorities or the adult protective services. California has a lot of facilities. California has 1,312 nursing homes and 7,718 assisted living or residential care facilities. Many of the residents in these homes, particularly seniors, have no one to advocate for them. In other words, they could be suffering adult cases of abuse. This is not only physical, but financial, property abuse, and so on. Obviously, an ombudsman comes in, is either called in by the relatives or somebody, a friend of the person who's living in these facilities, to investigate a situation which may involve a physical situation, sanitation, things like that, but also less obvious things. One of the things that the ombudsman program in Alameda County looks at is security. A lot of these assisted living facilities have no security whatsoever. The back door is open, the front door has no receptionist. Anybody can walk in, steal property, steal money, actually assault the person living there. So the ombudsman, if they tries to negotiate with the management of these homes to remedy the situation that's being complained about, if they can't reach resolution, and there is a, shall we say, a actual criminal act being performed, like elder abuse, they can actually go to Adult Protective Services or the police to get them to investigate. So you might say, these are the people who try to mediate first, and if they can't be solved, they have the rights to go to the legal authorities or the people who have the power to enforce these things. Even though these nursing homes and assisted living facilities are licensed by the state, the review of the licenses happens maybe once every 3 or 4 years. So this is a person who's right on the scene, can be called to the scene. The volunteer assisted, volunteer ombudsman people in the Alameda County sometimes get called out in the middle of the night to investigate a situation. So you might say they're the first person on the scene of the accident, so to speak. Federal funds supply some of the money to operate this program, and in California, the state and local governments through 33 PSAs have supplemented these federal funds to carry out the program at the local level. However, in 2008, the then governor of California vetoed over $3.8 million in funding for the local long-term care ombudsman program, representing approximately half of their funding. Because of state budget problems, such funds have not been restored, and for the 2010-11 fiscal year, there was also a reduction in federal funding. There was a special deposit fund, which you'll see on the exhibit on the top, it's on the line there is the called special deposit SDF. You'll see that on the top of the diagram, which is for the 2010-11 year, the special deposit fund, which was really money that was paid to the federal government for violations by these facilities, was running out of money to support this program. And the program has been basically on, you might say, for funding and on life support ever since. For example, we had $1.6 million for restoration of the $3.8 million by an Assembly bill in 2009 year, and we've been going on one-time only funds, and you can see that in this display. You read the notes down at the bottom. 2008 7-8 funds cut. It was $3,869,521. The baseline federal budget for 2010-11 was $4,191,000, but a special deposit reduction of $980,000 only left the net baseline at $3,211,000. And then we had one-time only transfers, which you can see I keyed those in with a little number 1 in a circle. That's how that number was arrived at. One-time only transfers for 2010-11 of $3,006,000, $6,000, and that's only bringing up the program total for the current fiscal year of $6,218,000. Whereas if you go back to the last year, the program was fully funded. Was the amount of money the state put in, and that's the allocation for 2007-2008 of $7,883,000, and that's what the program should be. That should be the baseline, which the program was in full force, with a number more than a number of volunteers. In addition to volunteers, a lot of paid help from the county social services departments. The long-term care ombudsman program is administered by the Department of Aging, which is a division of the Health and Human Services Department. The Health and Human Services Department also oversees the Department of Public Health and the Department of Social Services under Community Care Licensing. These two state agencies administer the licensing and certification of long-term care facilities in California. Every care facility pays an annual license fee to one of these two agencies in order to stabilize the funding for this program and basically get it off of life support so that it is not subject to the general budget fluctuations of the state. It is recommended that we advocate that an additional annual fee be charged each facility to support the local ombudsman program. The amount of the fee would be uniform statewide and could be based on the number of beds or the number of facilities or some combination thereof. Keep it flexible. The funds collected in this matter would be remitted to each local social service agency for the PSA without any need for specific appropriation. In other words, this money would be like any other licensing fee. It would be put into a special fund to be delivered for the cost of the service being rendered. Now, somebody might ask the question, well, $3.8 million, well, that's going to be kind of expensive for the owners of these care facilities, and they're going to complain very much. Well, we've got 293,132 beds in these facilities in California. You take $3,869,000 and divide it into those beds, and that works out to $13.20 per bed per year. And realizing that these beds in these facilities are rented by the day, not by the month or the year, basically that works out to 3.6 cents a day. The state of California, in administering Medicare payments to these facilities, allows the facility owner to earn an 8% profit. So this is not going to hurt their profit too much. Basically what I'm saying is we're looking for a fee to be charged, a license fee to be charged. This fee will be determined by the California State Ombudsman Office, which is a part of the Department of Aging, and would be able to be adjusted